What is the first thing that comes to mind when you think of theme parks? Some people might say Mickey Mouse, some people might say fireworks, but I guess the majority of you guys may think of roller coasters. Roller coasters are the most thrilling tech in the world and a staple of theme parks today. Engineers have pushed the boundaries of height for roller coasters from 100 to 200 to 300 to 400 feet. That speed's faster than most cars, but it wasn't always like this. It had a history. So I am going to be diving into the evolution and history of roller coasters, because why not? Now, some people say that the first roller coasters were built in Russia with large wooden ramps that people can slide down, but to me, that of course just sounds like sliding. The actual first roller coaster is a switchback railway in Coney Island in New York State. For example, the first car to ever be released to the public was made in 1886. Yep, that's right, roller coasters are older than cars. But now we use wood and steel, maybe even both. You can go upside down, you can go backwards, there's launches, there's 90-degree drops, and there's beyond 90-degree drops, and many more. Even when I was, of course, not around this time, I can still say that this coaster, right here, was a huge success. So the roller coaster, the Switchback Railway, which I talked about, was made by Lamarcus Thompson, which then created a company who would sell these roller coasters to anyone who wanted them. And sell they did. The company was extremely successful and they were innovated. This is when the loop— No! One of the biggest issues of building the first loops in roller coaster history is that people make the loops circular. The G-forces went from 1 to 14. This roller coaster was again made by Lamarcus Thompson, and it pretty much had the same name, except it was called the Flip Flap Railway. Now they had the loop in it, and it had to be removed. Now this next invention is an invention that every roller coaster enthusiast would love. It's the invention of the up-stop wheels. What? Yeah, I know, it's quite a weird thing to talk about. Without up-stop wheels, turns wouldn't be fast, there wouldn't be inversions. Well, I have no idea how this actually existed. There would be more banking and more thrills. Now I'm going fast with these innovation side of things. In 1929, Canoe Bells, a theme park in Pennsylvania, opened Flying Turns, the world's first bobsled roller coaster. And if you don't know what a bobsled roller coaster is, it's basically a roller coaster, except you can swing freely in a cart on a slide. And now finally we're going into the world of steel roller coasters with Matterhorn Bobsled in one of the most unimaginable places on Earth, Disneyland. This was the first ever roller coaster to use tubular steel track, and it also featured a splashdown, if I remember. This is also the start of popular roller coaster manufacturers too. B&M, Vekoma, Schwarzkopf, all of those big names. And actually, speaking of Schwarzkopf made Revolution, the first roller coaster to successfully have a vertical loop which will actually not break your limbs and die. And they also made the Super Duper Looper, a clone of Revolution in the east coast of America, in Hershey Park, Pennsylvania, in the Earth. And there has also been another model called the Corkscrew going around, and it was really popular at the time, and it was the first ever roller coaster model to go upside down 2 times. And Cedar Point at the time wanted to outdo that by adding in an airtime hill and another vertical loop, which means it had the inversion record, which was a staggering 3. But it doesn't stop there, because in 1978, we get introduced by boomerangs. Yay! And this was also the year Gemini at Cedar Point opened as the tallest roller coaster at the time for about 2 weeks. But this roller coaster was 125 feet tall. Big numbers. Now we're moving into the record side of things, and I'm going to be really fast. In 1985, Mindbender has just opened to the public as the world's tallest roller coaster, and it's still the world's tallest roller coaster that is enclosed. Oh wait, Mindbender is now SBNO'd. Mindbender was 145 feet tall, and then it's only 2 years later until the roller coaster height world record got taken again by Vortex, which was 147 feet. I know, only 2 feet taller. But this was the first roller coaster ever in the world to also feature 6 inversions, so it also ticked off the inversion record as well. Oh wait. It's destroyed. And now we're moving into the 1990s. B&M invented the inverted coaster and a famous roller coaster called Batman the Ride. This roller coaster, the inverted coaster, is where people sit under the track instead of over the track, and your legs are dangling instead of in like some sort of car. Then the height record went on with like roller coasters beating each other for like 2 feet every single week or so, until something revolutionary happened in the roller coaster community. Say hello to Magnum XL 200 at Cedar Point. Magnum XL 200 was the start of the famous roller coaster wars, and it was the world's first hypercoaster, which is a roller coaster that goes above the 200 feet limit. I know, it was so good, and very smooth at the time. I take back what I said. And then the record got yanked from my country, the UK, by Blackpool Pleasure Beach, the Pepsi Max big one, in the earth. This roller coaster stood 234 feet, and it was sponsored by Pepsi Max, which is a very weird company to sponsor on a roller coaster. But it's there. And it's still there. And then 2 years later, Fuji-Q Highland in Japan opened Fujiyama, which was 259 feet tall. And for some strange reason, there's this controversial opinion about this roller coaster, where either you love it, or you sincerely despise it. The first half of this coaster really isn't that bad. A few huge dips, and they are actually pretty smooth, until you reach the second half where you bash your head across the restraints, and you go. And now we're back with the innovation side of things. Flight of Fear at Kings Island was the first coaster to feature an LSM launch, and it was also made in 1996, the same year that Fujiyama opened. But the insane thing is about Fujiyama opening in 1996 is that in 1997, Six Flags Magic Mountain would open the first roller coaster to top the 400-foot mark. Although it wasn't full circuit, it was still 415 feet tall. Say hello to Superman Great Escape. Flying roller coasters have also made their appearance in 1997 too. Skytrack, built in Manchester, the UK, oh my gosh, my country's on a roll, was built with a single passenger car, and you swing around and it feels like that you're flying because you're face forward, and it kind of looks like something from Flamingo Land that looks like that it tortures people a little bit. It's not until the year after when the UK made another roller coaster type, the dive coaster. Oblivion at Alton Towers was the world's first dive coaster, and of course it held the steepest drop at the time, 88.8 degrees. Dive coasters are popular for their vertical drops. Oblivion was only one of the 2 dive roller coasters which didn't actually have a full vertical drop, because B&M hasn't invented their spring wheels yet, which will actually make roller coasters go vertical safely. In the same year, 1998, manufacturer Intamin made their famous roller coaster layout that featured 8 inversions. This is how the roller coaster Monte Macaia at Terra Encantada in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil was built. It had 8 inversions, a vertical loop, a cobra roll, 2 inversions, and 3 heartline rolls. Just to make it clear, a cobra roll is 2 inversions. In 1999, Six Flags Great Adventure opened Medusa, the world's first floorless coaster, which is basically a normal roller coaster, except of course it doesn't have a floor. Wow, so obvious. New millennium, new roller coaster at Cedar Point which will shock the world, called Millennium Force, the world's first giga coaster, which is the roller coaster that is in between the heights 300 and 399 feet. This roller coaster can easily make you grey out, and it's blue. And the record got beaten by Nagashima Sparland. Steel Dragon 2000, which is the name of the roller coaster, which opened 2 weeks after Millennium Force. It's now also still the longest roller coaster in the world, and that's what it's known for right now. Jumping back into the innovation side of roller coaster stuff, we have Hypersonic XLC, the world's first roller coaster that uses air compressions to launch the roller coaster cart to incredible and outstanding speeds. 2002 had an amazing mix with records and innovations. The innovation side of things, we have Accelerator, the world's first hydraulic launch roller coaster. And if you're wondering why I'm saying this, it's the launch type that Top Thrill Dragster and King Dakar uses. We'll get to that sooner. And then in 2002, Merlin created the world's first 10 looping roller coaster, made by Intamin once again. Colossus at Thorpe Park had 10 inversions, yep, a 1-0, a vertical loop, a cobra roll, 2 corkscrews, and not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 heartline rolls. That should be illegal. 2002 was also the year when Six Flags Magic Mountain, yep, Six Flags Magic Mountain once again, opened X2, which used to be called X at the time. It was the world's first 4-dimensional coaster, which is where the carts are beside the track and they spin controllably by the operator, which I think is really, really cool and interesting. Then, in 2003, a roller coaster at Cedar Point opened that would change the roller coaster industry forever. Say hello to Top Thrill Dragster. Was unlike any other roller coaster ever on planet Earth at the time. 420 feet. How insane. It was full circuit and it was taller than Superman. No one thought that anybody was going to top that, but Intamin did, and they made Top Thrill Dragster. They might have eaten a lot of sugar that day. And also, Flamingo Land opened the world's very first motorbike roller coaster, Velocity. This is a coaster where you sit in a motorbike sitting position and you launch forward and then you go through many dips and turns and helixes. We're gonna skip 2004 because I find that a bit too boring, so we're going to go to 2005 where King Dakar, the current tallest roller coaster in the world, opened. Oh my gosh, it is a beast of a coaster. 456 feet tall, even taller than Top Thrill Dragster, and we don't even see any roller coasters topping that. If you know me, I love quite a bit of information about RMC coasters. Wildcat Revenge sounds beautiful. Anyway, in 2011, RMC finally built their first roller coaster, New Texas Giant. This had many ejector airtime hills, but it did have quite a second half, but that's fine for a first coaster. It was one of the best first coasters of a manufacturer in roller coaster history. Also in 2011, Ferrari World in Abu Dhabi opened Formula Rossa, the fastest roller coaster in the world to this day. 149 miles per hour. You literally need to wear goggles because it's that fast. In 2013, the Smiler opened with the most inversions on a roller coaster. 14 inversions. It is an absolute spaghetti of track and the #1 coaster that I have been on ever in my life so far. In 2018, Cedar Point opened the best roller coaster in the world, Steel Vengeance. And I'm actually planning to actually go to Cedar Point, so I am so hyped when I ride this. This will either be my first, second, third, or fourth RMC. Definitely will be one of those. I have high expectations. Top of my bucket list, and I just can't wait. And here we are at present day. What has happened? Velocicoaster is opened, Pantheon is opened, Iron Gwazi is opened, Wildcat Revenge is about to open, Airy Force 1 is also about to open, so much more. I hope you guys have liked this vid, and please subscribe, because we're nearly at 400 subscribers, and it would mean the world for you to subscribe. Salute.